We all just want to help people, and we're not always going to be the right person, but we will help you find the right person.
Yep, absolutely. So on our website, we do have like our partners page where we have lots of people that we know and trust on there. Everyone on there, I've like at least had a conversation with, if not my person. I've had clients tell me how great they are, and then I'll hop on a call with them. I depend on our clients and our doulas to guide our resources, and then I build that relationship. But absolutely, if somebody calls me or emails us about anything, I just send them helpful information, right? Even if they can't afford a doula, but they really want a doula, well, then of course I'm sending them to Chicago Volunteer Doulas or Berthas or New Moms.
Yes.
There's resources out there. and thankfully I know of a lot of them.
Well, so that brings me, there's new ones being added every day, and, things that weren't there before and things that have changed. I mean, COVID, of course, changed so much about how we're doing everything. So what kinds of changes have you seen as both a doula and a business owner over this period of time?
Yeah, COVID was insane. There's many scary moments in there that I didn't know what would happen. But I mean, I think what you said earlier, like people know about doulas now. So I think when I started like 13 years ago, people didn't know about doulas, or it was more of a niche, and people would often think only somebody who is doing an unmedicated birth would hire a doula.
Right.
And even postpartum doulas, maybe somebody who had multiples would know of a night nanny or a postpartum doula or something for help. It's definitely more mainstream now. So it seems like I'd say 80% of our births, the families don't plan on going the unmedicated route. A lot of people know that doulas are an awesome resource, that we're a strong support. We provide guidance and help them navigate things. And we're helpful no matter what their birth looks like and no matter what their wants are. That's been a huge change. And it's an awesome one, because doulas are non-judgmental care providers that can help in so many different situations. And we're there for the family. And we're kind of other than their partner, we're the person there for them that's just there for them.
Yeah.
So that's changed. Postpartum care as well. Like, I think many people just have access to us now and realize that we exist, where before I don't think people realize that as much. Or maybe they thought, oh, it's the same as like my mom helping or a friend helping. Recruit all the help. I never say no to help. If your mom wants to come over and help cook you food, help with laundry, let her. Or if your parents or your sister, take it, let them help you. And we fill in all the gaps. We can teach. One thing that's unique about doulas is we don't have an opinion on what you do. And so, it's really hard. I mean, I'm a mom of 3 girls. I have opinions already about who's going to be at birth. But yeah, I think everyone else around them has a different type of investment in. We're there, and our investment is making sure the family feels cared for and supported, and that they know how to navigate the things they want to do.
Right.
And then also I always say, no matter how nice your family is or how much they want to help, it's really hard to recruit people for overnight care.
Yes. Yes. Very true. And I do think that's a really good point of just, the doula does not have an agenda. The doula is there to do what you need. They're not going to be trying to hold the baby. You want to be holding the baby right now. They're not going to be sleeping on the couch in the hospital room like some people might while you're miserable. I just remember my husband snoring over in the corner, and I'm like, oh my God, too close. But
yeah, I remember my husband watching a soccer game while I was in labor with my third. And I just remember like looking over at him and being like, what are you doing? What is going on over there?
Yes. Yes. Oh my gosh. Even though they don't have an agenda, most doulas, I think, have been through the experience in one way or another themselves too. So most of us who have joined this birth space are doing it because of our own experience. And
Yeah,
so we may not know exactly how you feel because your experience is different, but we've been there and we at least know how hard it is and the kinds of
exactly.
things you might need. Yeah.
Yep, I was thinking of that. That's kind of like where I was going in the beginning, and I think I got sidetracked.
Okay.
But once I had my
Mhm.
first baby, I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is so important. This
Yeah.
work is so important." I always felt like being a special ed teacher, absolutely, that's an important and very, very challenging job that not everyone could do. And then I fell in love with my first birth doula, and I was like, "Wait a minute, this is really important." And then it really became important to me as a mom myself. That was the space I was in. I was in the
Yeah.
breastfeeding and birth space mentally,
Mhm.
emotionally, and I just really related to that phase of my life.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's interesting, I keep wondering, is there going to be a point where something else really resonates with me? But
Yeah.
being a mom is such a identity in general that I don't know if
Yeah.
anything else will ever feel that important, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. No, it's a really special, rewarding thing to be doing.
yeah,
Yeah,
I agree.
absolutely. To be able to be a part of that amazing experience that families are going through. I mean, it just yeah. So speaking of that, let's talk about a few logistical things. First of all, when to contact you, and then what are the different kinds of things that you guys are offering?
So, actually, families contact us usually, like, between 12 and 30 something weeks. So that's a very common time for them to reach out to us. But with that being said, we do have a lot of families that reach out to us that maybe they are trying to conceive or they're hoping to conceive soon. And they reach out to us and really want some insights. And we're always happy to give that. Some families actually contact us while they're starting to think about having a baby or they're
Mm,
just getting started with fertility treatments because they know that we're a resource. So they'll contact us and say, I know I want to hire a doula. I'm not ready to, but I'd love to talk with somebody just
mhm,
kind of about what doulas do, what we offer, and then get your insight on hospitals, midwife practices, doctors. What's the difference between a midwife and a doctor? Like, we are a resource. If I
yes.
want to have a water birth, I don't even know where to start with that. We can certainly answer lots of questions. I love actually when families contact us then because it ends up that they'll reach out right when they find out they're expecting and they'll email and they'll say, I have great news. We're expecting now and we're due that this time. And then we
Yeah.
get to follow them in their journey. So some planners reach out to us at that. Then we have the common range, I would say 12 weeks to 38 weeks, 40 weeks even.
Mhm,
Sometimes families reach out to us towards the end because they're like, I just went to my appointment and I'm really nervous because I was imagining they would let me go as long as possible. And now they're saying because I'm 38 years old, they want to induce me next week. And I don't want to be
mm,
induced, but I don't know
mhm,
what to do. Do I have to?
mm,
You know, talk with them about what we see and what options are. We definitely don't give them medical advice, but
yes.
I think once families know it's not like a law or a
Mhm,
rule, people
mhm,
always think, and I tell them my story about my first and my third, my water was broken for over 5 days. And people are
mhm.
like, "Is that legal? How did you get to do that?" And I'm like, "Well, I had midwives that are on the same page about things." By the time I had my third, it was like, we knew that my body did this,
Mhm.
and I was, of course, never reckless or unsafe, and I was monitored, but it was a decision to be made. And
Right.
so really kind of helping families understand that these are just healthcare decisions that you get to make with your provider, and hopefully you're on the same page as them. Yeah, so families can really hire us at any point with postpartum as well. It's like some people hire us as soon as they know they're expecting. They might fine tune things along the way. We just talked to some friends and they have support 7 nights a week. I think we want to do that or whatever.
Mhm.
And then sometimes it's when their baby's 2 months old and not sleeping well. And they're like, we're out. We thought by now that our baby would sleep 6 hour stretches, and we're lucky if it's 45 minutes. And we're at a breaking point, and my partner's going back to work tomorrow, and we're
Yeah,
all in panic mode over here. And I'm like, we can help. Yeah, really, at any point, families can reach out to us. And like I said, if they're not expecting yet, or if they're kind of early on in pregnancy, I would just encourage them or ask them, like, hey, can we reach back out to you? If they're
yep,
expecting early on, reach out to us when you're ready, or can we check in with you in 2 months? But yeah, I think it's always great that they know we're a resource for them
right,
whenever they need us.
right, right. Oh, that's great. And I think an important point that you just mentioned is that this is somebody who is non-medical, which is nice to have somebody, like you said, who's just there to support you. They're not your pediatrician, they're not your OB, they're not your midwife. They are there to support you and help you through those decisions, but not make them for you. And
Absolutely.
it can be really nice to have somebody like that who's just on your side. Yeah.
Absolutely. My agency, we go to maybe 70 to 80 births a month, and all the doulas send me all the notes, and I read all those notes. And so
Mhm.
I've been to so many hospitals myself and I've seen so many births myself, but from my lens, I get to see, oh, wow, there was a water birth at Prentice. That's awesome. How did that happen? And I'll like
Yeah.
text the doula and be like, what? How did this happen? And stars aligned. Just kidding. But I get to see like the whole gamut of
Yeah.
uh, births and what's possible and what
Yeah.
doctors were supportive of what. That's a really big lens.
Yeah.
Most doctors can talk to their patients about what their hospital does
Right. Right.
and what their practice does, even. Maybe it's
Right.
even narrower than the hospital. This is what we do at our practice. But
Right.
like, I always say it's interesting because one practice might say your water broke, come in right away. The practice 2 doors down from them says your water broke. Well, that's okay. Can you call me and you could stay home for 24 hours?
Mhm.
Same hospital. It's, protocols of the practice. We talk
Yeah.
to families about that. And then kind of touching on the other question you asked, what other services do we offer other
Mhm.
than postpartum? Classes, tons
Okay.
of classes. And your doula will talk to you about these things, but then it's amazing if you can also take some classes and learn about all these things from a different person in a different way with a different set of resources.
Mhm.
I created all the classes other than like hypnobirth, or we're starting to have birthing from within, but all of our classes, I made them. They all have these awesome workbooks, very interactive and ownership of learning. So a teacher made these books. You could
Okay.
tell. Lots of
Yeah.
conversations and like, what do you want to happen and how can we achieve that?
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, yeah, lots
Great.
of great resources.
Great. Great. Well, this has been so helpful to just know more what is out there and what it is, what it really is. And I think that's going to help a lot of people. And I wanted to mention, I don't know exactly what's going on with this, but I know that there was something going on about doulas being covered by insurance now in
Oh,
Illinois
yeah.
too.
Yes. So I
Yeah.
think about, 30 to 50% of our clients are getting labor and postpartum covered by insurance, or there's a company
Wow.
called Carrot Fertility. We have some clients that are getting like $40,000 to be used
Wow.
towards postpartum care from their company's program with Carrot Fertility. It just
Wow.
started January 1st, but yeah, it's unbelievable actually. I mean, the first
Yeah.
couple of emails I got about this, we started keeping track of what businesses are
Mhm.
covered providing this through company insurance or through
Mhm.
Carrot. But yeah, a lot of families that actually already hired us are coming back and saying, "Hey, I just realized that this is a benefit of my company, and yeah, we can get it covered." I'd say
Wow.
bare minimum $2,000 to be
Okay.
used, which our labor package doesn't cost $2,000. So they can
Right.
use it for their labor doula for classes or for labor doula and a postpartum doula for a couple of shifts.
Wow, that's
Awesome.
great. I'm
Correct.
glad that
Yeah.
that is working. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
If it matters.
Yeah, and I'm not very supportive of the insurance world, but thankfully people are starting to listen and change things.
Right. Well, you know what's neat about this too is we're not billing insurance.
Right.
So what's awesome is that we're just able to give them what they need. And this is why it's kind of neat that Carrot's involved because we give Carrot what they need and it's pretty simple. And then they get it reimbursed. So it's not like us billing
Mhm.
insurance and talking to so many different companies trying to figure out how this should be
Right.
billed. It really is just like a simple process for us. And it sounds like
Yeah.
for the families too.
Yeah, yeah, that's great. That's great. Well, I have a couple more quick questions. These are just questions that I ask
Yes.
everyone who comes on my little show. One is, so I know you kind of split your time between Chicago and Arizona now, correct? So
Yeah.
since I'm in Chicago, I am curious what your favorite thing to do in Chicago is, favorite restaurant, favorite whatever in Chicago.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna have to say the lake.
Okay.
Um,
You're not the first person who has said that.
yeah, I think I have grown my appreciation for Lake Michigan over the years. I grew up in the suburbs of Chicago in Brookfield, and so we didn't really do much in the city growing up. And then I moved
Mhm.
away when I was
Mhm.
18 and kind of came back and had kids there and didn't get to do many things after that,
Yes.
kind of stayed close to home. But yeah, the lake is all summer long. My kids do sailing camp and they are on Lake Michigan, and it's really awesome.
Oh, nice, nice. Yeah, same, like, we wanted to live close to the city to get into the city more often, and now we have kids and we never go into the city,
Exactly, right.
so
It doesn't take much. It's if you have to put in
yeah,
any effort, it's probably not
right,
happening.
right, yes. All right, the lake. I think, like, probably over half of the people I've talked to have said something about the lake, so it is something
It's
special about
pretty.
Chicago for sure. And then my second question is, if you had a chance to go back and talk to your 20-year-old self, what would you tell them?
Ooh, this is a hard one. Sleep isn't that important. No, just kidding.
I didn't think you were gonna say that. I love it.
One day you won't ever sleep again, and you'll actually be fine, and you'll be older. Just kidding. No, I had a lot of fun in my 20s. For whatever reason, I've been a pretty secure person, even in my
Mhm.
20s. So I think cliche, like a lot of people would be like, oh, trust yourself,
Yeah.
or one day it'll all fit together, but I feel like I got to travel a ton. I kind of did a lot of fun things and enjoyed my
Yeah.
20s. I had my first daughter when I was 30. So I feel like I got to
Okay,
enjoy my
nice.
20s.
Yeah.
I worked hard and got to where I wanted to be.
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
guess just the sleep piece of it. What was scariest about having kids was that, like, I need 10 hours of sleep a
Yeah.
night.
Forget
My
about
friends
that.
Yeah. My friends laugh at me because my kids are the worst sleepers on earth. And then we have 3 dogs. So all night long, I'm up and doing things, and then I go lay back down and fall asleep again. I'm like, it's funny that I thought this was going to be such an important quality that I needed.
Yeah.
In years, it has barely happened.
Yeah. And I think you just your body changes, you learn to live with that to a certain extent, and your priorities change, right?
Yeah, I always think it's
Too.
expectations too, or
Mhm.
what you feel entitled to. I feel like I think about
Yes,
that quite a bit, or what you need, what you have to have, what you
right.
are entitled to. Anytime I start getting upset or overwhelmed, I realize I'm feeling entitled to have whatever, right? And then it's
Mhm.
like, okay, I'm just gonna change my mindset because today I'm not entitled to have a warm cup of coffee, but maybe
Right.
tomorrow I will.
Yeah, that's a good way of thinking about it. I like
Yeah, with kids, it's just tricky sometimes.
right,
You
right.
can have the best of intentions and agenda and be super excited to accomplish something, but
Yeah.
they don't want
It's not
to all the
always
time.
gonna happen. Yep.
Absolutely.
Well, this has been a wonderful conversation. I really appreciate you joining me and sharing some tidbits about your life and about your business. And I'm so happy that families in the Chicagoland area have you and your organization to support them through a challenging and wonderful time to make it maybe a little more wonderful and a little less challenging.
Oh,
And
thank you.
well, and I will put all of the contact information for Anna and for Chicago Family Doulas on the YouTube channel with this video where it will be housed. And if you have questions, this is a pre-recorded show. If you do have questions that we didn't address, feel free to write them in the comments and we will get back to you. And I hope everybody has a wonderful day, a wonderful weekend. And again, just thank you, Anna, for joining me and for everything that you do for everyone in our wonderful city by the lake.
Right. Thank you so much. Thanks for having me, and same, thanks for everything you do for everyone, for
Oh,
our clients, and for our community. We're very lucky to have you.
oh, well, thank you. Well, I'm honored to be a part of it.
Oh, thank
So,
you. All
all
right. Thanks
right.
so much.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.